Hey there, my name is Scott Engler. I am the author of The Job Interview and most recently Legends of the Recruiting and Career World. And today's video, what I really wanted to touch on, a few weeks ago I had published something for job seekers that I found were the two most overestimated areas of the job search. And what I wanted to touch on today were actually the two most underestimated areas that I found that people have of themselves in the job search. So in working with, in this industry for quite some time now, and with lots of different clients, and what I see most commonly, the two areas that people seem to have a lowered estimation of their ability in their job search is, the first one is networking. And before I go any further with networking, I wanted to explain that people seem to have a specific idea of what networking looks like and why they may not be that good at it. And so, for example, some of the clients I have may not feel, they say, well, I'm not good at networking, Scott, because I'm not that, I'm not that sociable of a person. I don't really like going to networking groups or events where I have to mingle and really sell myself in that way. And so in that case, that's not the only form of networking. And so a lot of the things I work on with my clients is, if maybe they're a great writer, maybe they join some LinkedIn groups and they love doing the online discussions and the online forums. That's a form of networking. And so if your strength is more focused on you feel like you're better to do things online, then go do that, and that's what I work with my clients on, is that networking. Some people love volunteering, and so that's a great form of networking, especially if, what I say is, most organizations have different types of events and fundraisers and ways you could get involved. And so if let's say you wanted to work for, JP Morgan. So if you want to work for JP Morgan, look on the website, see if there's any events, or maybe they're having some type of fundraiser for cancer awareness or whatever. And there's plenty of ways to get involved and volunteer. And even better if you could somehow volunteer doing some type of position that you feel you're good at. Like if you're a good event planner, let's say, maybe you could be part of planning the event. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because I find that people tend to have a skewed vision of networking looking one way. And if you really, take a little bit of time to think about it, there's plenty of opportunities to network in ways that fit with your strengths. The second thing that I wanted to really touch on that is huge, that people seem to consistently underestimate, is their strengths, their talents, their experience, and how that is transitional with their skill set, and how that could go into different industries. So let me just back up for a second and explain why I think this is something that is so underestimated and undervalued in the clients and people I speak with. It's because we're not taught to think like that. So growing up, most people didn't grow up in school systems or in families where they really work on cultivating your strengths and, really taking the time to find out what you're best at and how you could capitalize on that, right? A lot of our society and just the way things work, and this is across the board, not just in the US, but in other countries, is like, let's focus on fixing our weaknesses and let's, do this. And a lot of times more attention, perfect example is kids will go get tutoring and their parents will pay for it because they're poor in one subject, versus why don't we invest more money into what that kid is already great at and see how they could expand that, and just having the places that they can improve be a small part of that process. So, couple that with, if you're working for a company, a lot of my clients have been doing the same thing or in the same title for a long time with the same company, or even if they weren't with the same company, they're working as the same in the same type of position for a long time. So I know a few employers that really take the time, and nor would I expect them to, explain to their employees how their skills could be transitional to different industries. So, there's really no beneficial reason, I think, for your employer to tell you that, because that would suggest you leaving that company most likely. But I think, the reason I'm explaining that is because I think that's these are a few of the major reasons why people have such a difficult time knowing their value with these types of things. And it really does affect just, moving forward in their career, if they want to switch industries, or even when they go in for an interview, really owning their value and knowing their value, knowing what their strengths are and how they could contribute that to a potential employer, potential professional career situation. So those are the areas where I see the most that people underestimate just how great they are in. And that's it for now. If you would like to discuss more about how I help my clients break through the next level of their career, optimize their career development, and really stoke that fire within, please feel free, contact me on LinkedIn, or you could send me an email. It's buildingyourownbrand@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.